there's a path to find more about apparently crocodiles, children. How will we go about business trips? Brazil, Germany, what was it? Where's the interpreter? Australia, China, France, Brazil. Yeah. Where's the interpreter? Susan Ford. Let's just randomly search, maybe find something. Although I highly doubt it. No. Definitely one of these gonna be Susan Ford. One of these. Also her picture. I think the only way to find her picture would have to either for the husband or for the sons. Let's search the sons. Everywhere. Maybe we'll find something. No. Steve Garland. The Boston Hub page is run by someone with eclectic taste. They came to rate things on a scale from wicked awful to wicked wicked. The most recent thing to receive wicked awful was a new store called Bees. Thing is simply though Beatrice is not very friendly. The most recent establishment to receive wicked wicked is a comic store Cambridge called the Million Year Picnic. As far as you can tell, nothing besides Friday seems to be connected to search in any way. But we can just search this for now. It's an antique store located in Boston. The owner's name is Beatrice, and the store's name appears to be somewhat awkward attempt at a bee-sting spun. They're supported by what can only be described as swarm of bee-related imagery and puns on their website. Their logo is pastel yellow and black striped theme with clip art insects all over it. It mentions all of Boston is buzzing for bees. There's even a listing for vintage armor that mentions the plenty of room for all your yellow jackets in it. The bottom stays found down, honey, and make a deal with Beale. Nothing here appears to be relevant to your search. I see. Christine. This serves a variety of dishes meant to evoke a neglected part of the house. This includes the English British called cobbler, which uses candy floss to double blackberry pie. They also have cheesecake they call the dust bowl, which is served in a mason jar. It has a very finely crusted cookie atop of it. Game, stop making me hungry. As delicious as it all sounds, the restaurant doesn't seem late to research in any way. Dum bum bum bum. Roottrees Enterprise is the name of a law firm that has been hired by Roottrees Candy Company. The company is named after its settler River Sprat. You can find much about the company from before this year, but all of the articles tell the same tale. After the fiasco of 6 pieces and the revelation that the Roottreemania group was complicit in such a cover-up, they hired its out counsel. The Roottrees Enterprise group now seems to have ties to multiple aspects of Roottrees Corporation, including the Candy Company and Root. There were recently news due high-profile lawsuit there raised against Cicely Sanchez. Who's who? Is an author best known for Portrait of a Changed Man, released 1979. Her follow-up, Foreign Gospel, did not perform as well critically, but still sold quite respectably. She has written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, but her first two are her claim to fame. According to a site about authors, Cicely is known for her nonfiction with a focus on exploring darkness in human psyche. Recently, Cicely appeared in a magazine called Picoty with an article about books she had been commissioned to write by Guy Hudson. Okay. The magazine says they herself immediately issued a cease and desist due to its inclusion of pictures that she never had the rights to publish. The issue was pulled from store shelves, making it an instant collector's item. Picoty's category flower. Nice. A Picoty magazine publication that, as far as you can tell, has no consistent theme. It tends to contain tabloid-esque articles that appeal to a wider variety of audiences and appears in many grocery stores near the checkout line. Unlike traditional tabloids, it doesn't typically feature celebrities on the cover. Instead, it tends to latch into ingrained sensationalist headlines about whatever subject appears to be popular at any given time. In recent years, this has included Beanie Babies, Magic Eye images, and even Red Bull. It has often come under fire for printing fiction along with the facts. Picoty gets around this by stating in every issue that all its articles are all in hearsay that's fit to print. At one point, Picoty ran an article by Cicely Sanchez, an author. She claims to have written an unread book about Guy Hudson. And the article is not even the main focus of the issue, yet the magazine was threatened legally by Roottrees Corporation. The particular issue, the big sea bass issue, was pulled from the shelves. It has become a collector's item, especially amongst conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out what the Roottrees company was hiding. You find a recently finished online auction that listed a copy at over $1,000. Don't know about the bid. Big Sass Sea Bass is a talking fish that sits on a fake mount on your wall. When you press the button and speak into it, it mimics your voice and then insults you. Many people consider it a ripoff of a more popular wall-mounted communication-based fish decoration, but the packaging makes it clear that this one does not sing. Instead, what the advertisement set Big Sass Sea Bass apart from its competitors is a sardonic and sarcastic wit that will leave you reeling with laughter. It's oceans of fun for the whole family. You'll be hooked on this big sassy bass. The words reeling, oceans, and hooked are conveniently bolded to ensure you recognize how clever the copywriter is, boss. Recently, and appeared in the cover of Picoty magazine, the same issue that Roottrees-related article appeared. That issue was removed from stores after Roottrees sued the magazine. The issue was become a collector's item and ripe for conspiracy theories about what the Roottrees were trying to keep from people. In an issue that focused on talking toy fish and the demonic messages it supposedly said as the batteries run low, Picoty, this was featured in the game called Control, read an article about a cancelled book by Cicely Sanchez. The book's subject was Guy Hudson, and the issue was said to contain pictures that Cicely did not have rights to publish. Because of the pictures, the issue was pulled from the store shelves, making it subject for some conspiracies, and an instant collector's item. Due to his recall, the version found in these archives is incomplete. Too bad. Basil Bob. Could this popular gift be filling homes with satanic messages? This was the issue Piketty magazine that contained an article about Cecily Sanchez. The story concerned an erased book she had written about Guy Hudson. This seems that it issued photo of Guy that Cecily did not own rights to publish. Unfortunately, the magazine was issued a cease desist by Portrait lawyers. The magazine was pulled from shelves, and the version you found in your particular search had irrelevant pages removed, rendering this magazine useless, unless you want to read about a potentially demonic fish toy. I want the evidence! Where are my pictures? Where can I find the pictures? Newstime briefly covered lawsuit between Ruby Spratt and Pivot Magazine's own They said the Cecily didn't have rights to magazine Guy Hudson. Piketty apparently announced that they will be pulling in their issue the following day, the moment that the Ruby legal enterprise threatened them. This caused issue to sell faster than any other magazine's history, though only for a day. Even people that would never have normally purchased it went out on their way to buy one, just in case it would be worth something someday. It especially caught the eye of conspiracy theorists who assumed that anything worth suing over would have to be hiding something. An expert legal analyst knew Sam states that it's unlikely that Ruby could have had the story pulled if it had gone to court, and Piketty likely got more eyes on it than it could have if the Roottrees just ignored the story. Out of brand, the book's description has this to say: what if everything you stand for, everything you know to be true today could disappear in an instant? All of your politics, relationships gone in a blink of an eye. Would you still be you? Cecily Sanchez, or whatever her name is pronounced as, tells this powerful true story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool and became an entirely different person, included on interviews from those that knew him best before, as well as one-on-one chat that paints an entirely different picture. You won't be able to put down without wondering, what if that were me? Foreign Gospel tells a tale of a man from the Catholic Church who claims he was told by God that he should travel to Thailand and began to preach, specifically with the goal to convert 10,000 people. He returned to the United States after just over 2 years, claiming to have succeeded. This book tells his version of the story, while the author, Cecily Sanchez, also traveled to Thailand to investigate these claims and talk with some of the so-called converted. They're not giving me more hints. New system coming fall 1999. They're not giving me any jumping stones. Sterling. Did I just mess them up? What does he... Huh? Darling. Is this the same person? No idea. No idea. Let's go to the back. Let's start here. Let's... much has changed over the last many months with Candy Company. One of those things is its website. Although during the last search you only got a good look at the history page, the design itself has clearly become much more sleek and very corporate. Gone is the history-focused analyzed Roottrees. Instead, the site seems to focus on the present status of their candy offerings, with high-quality JPEGs of each of their products. There are some small ads for Root, which is the clothing company owned by Roottrees Candy Company. There's a small section, and the bottom lists the president as Clark Rafferty-Laro. Short bio mentioned that he was responsible for some of their marketing before taking the reins after the unfortunate plane crash. There's also a small memorial section to those that perished in the plane crash, including Roottrees sisters, Clara Blenda, Carl Johnson, Mark Sanchez, Trish King, and Eliza Nicholson. I will highlight it for now, but I don't think it's relevant, to be honest. It's probably just the crew of the plane. Let's go back to Carl, I guess. Carl Rafferty-Laro is the new president of Roottrees Corporation. This does not include Root, which appears to have its own new leadership. Look that up too. In early March 1999, about 5 months ago, it was announced that both Clark and Ron Roottrees would be taking over for what's essentially described as a transitional period in the aftermath of Six Species. About 2 weeks later, the company released a press statement that thanked Ron for his work but announced that Clark was the new permanent president. Interesting. Most of information about Clark you already knew already. Many descriptions of him tend to focus on advertising career and that his mother was Lauren Roottrees. Few seem to touch his complex and volatile marital history. Since taking over, Clark has tried to remain out of the spotlight, but it have won notably foray in the public eye. He gained a lot of support when his first move was a statement favored accepting Sam and her family into the trust. He also served as an announcement that the clan's trust would no longer be handled by anyone in the family since due to their financial motivation, none of them could be impartial. Root website has a small memorial section for the deceased members of the family, but contains no new information. The most recent catalog, spring 1999, had an entirely black cover, with no text on it. On the leadership page, you learn that Root is currently managed by a designer who was apparently Brenda White's second in command. You don't recognize her name, and she seems unrelated to your search. There's also a scholarship page. On it, you find information about Roottrees' sister's fashion scholarship. It is awarded to 3 underprivileged high school girls each year who wish to pursue a career in fashion. Apparently, it also gives them an opportunity to show off their designs and professional models on a real runway. According to the site, the fund was created directly from shares that would have contributed to inheritance of the Roottrees sisters if they were still alive, like other aspects of Glenn's trust managed by Ruby Legal Enterprises. Not helpful. Should I... No, I don't think it. Really gonna help me now. Bum, bum. An anonymous woman appeared on the car news stamp holding a picture of her daughter Jane Roottrees, the first and only mention of the phrase anonymous news stamp this week after they issued an apology featuring her in the first place. Summary of initial cover articles been to evidence. Interesting. Why do we have an evidence picture if she's not? Because he is not afraid to expose details that other publication would avoid. Shortly after the announcement that Jane Doe was not a Roottrees, Picotti exposed personal details about the story of Anonymum under headline Anonymum the Anonicon. They said Anonymum worked as manager at department store in North Carolina and her daughter's name was Courtney May. They also said the woman was vouched for her famous cover story. His name Corinne. Oh. The woman that vouched for her famous cover story. Okay. Because it is not credible publication, the information wasn't publicly actionable, and very few people seem to notice or care. Okay. Just in case. Just in case. Okay, what do we get? I see. It was determined through DNA tests that Anonymous daughter was not Roottrees. This article, which did refer to her as Jane Doe. To review, Anonymous woman appeared. The cover news stamp shortly 5 piece. Like 5 piece, she was to remain anonymous. Godson working his secretary. She says that other women were both underqualified and neither had diaper experience. According to other staff members interviewed, Guy had his own requirements for hiring women. Guy Hudson liked to throw lavish parties, and the longer he was present, the more excuse he found. Anonymous women posits that these parties mostly seemed to be an excuse to have after parties in Guy's home, featuring much more alcohol and other substances. She claims she slept with him at one of these after parties. She confronted Guy when she found out she was pregnant. Guy didn't seem fazed, and they came to an arrangement. He paid her a significant amount of hush money on a recurring basis under the table. She used it to move away and start new life with her daughter. When Guy died, the money stopped coming, and she assumed things had run their course. She went back to work at the department store and hoped nobody would ever look too closely at how she paid for her house. She told everyone that her daughter's father walked out one day and never came back. She claimed that after seeing the fantastic article in News Time, she realized that she wasn't the only one that it happened to. While she never worked at the Roottrees company at the same time as Wifey's mother Joanna, their stories seemed eerily similar, and she knew Felix was telling the truth right away. The article presented no tangible evidence of the enormous one-time Roottrees, and all of the payments were allegedly made in cash. However, using details of provided News Time, the reporters were able to reach out to the women hired at the same time, both remain anonymous. They successfully fact-checked the title of both women and confirmed the existence and famous after parties. Give me the name. I think I might ask for a hint because I'm getting overwhelmed by all the information that's not going anywhere. I know surnames for both Elizabeths. And we also know the Beth, who might be Elizabeth and might be a different Beth, because there are Beth on the payroll. Let's say... we're gonna search. The Grandeur School of the Dead, formerly Grandeur of Dove, is located about an hour from the Roottrees offices used to be in Butler County, but it serves much of that part of Pennsylvania nearby Ohio. According to their website, it was formerly named Grandeur of Dove, because Grandeur was the last name of the founder and Dove is Danish word for death. The founder had issues with government translators, leading to an odd transcription issue. 1990, it was renamed by to represent the school's purpose and correct the embarrassing lack of effort awareness demonstrated by government officials in those early days. The staff is listed on the website. You scan through all the biographies and find that Principal Mrs. Ford is fluent in 5 languages, including ASL, American Sign Language. She has been working in school for 14 years. Miss Ford also mentions she is not deaf herself, but rather learns sign language to communicate with the deaf. Mentions she was responsible for securing foundation of Hudson Wing. There she is, the interpreter. Hudson Wing is an expansion of Grandeur of Dove, an underground school, first built in 1998, separate, much smaller building half a block from main campus, operates a small independent school. That offers free ESL courses for family members, friends, and caretakers of deaf children. According to their history site, they got their name after the President Roottrees compound generously donated $250,000 towards the construction of the building. There's also a very vague history section that you somewhat fill in with details from other information you've seen about the school. It mentions the nation game and insistence of an employee of Roottrees at the time. It mentions that she learned ASL from main school before the Hudson Wing existed, to surprise her future husband who was deaf. After realizing how useful a service like this could be on non-deaf people that wish to better serve those with hearing issues, she convinced Roottrees management to invest in the school. The Hudson Wing opened, she became the first teacher in the new campus. At first, it only operated on weekends, but since then, it added afternoon classes on some weekdays. Where is she? Susan Ford. Anywhere? No. She's married. Future husband. Future husband. But she's still Ford. She was Ford here. Either or. Oh. For them, I had a few appearances here and there in Butler County since 1990s. It's not too many that you can look at all of them, so after scrolling for a few pages, I managed to find something incredibly useful. An article that isn't even focused on the school itself. Local students provide key evidence and scientific study. The article from March of this year, 1999, mentions that the Ford sisters who attend the public school in Butler County, thank you, are one of only a handful of identical twins in the world who suffer from two different genetic issues. One of them has asthma, and the other has a deadly allergy to peanuts. Their mother, Susie Ford, who is principal at the nearby Grant School of Death, was originally contracted by researchers looking to identify if there were any sets of twins where one was born deaf and the other was not. Well, she didn't have any twins attending her school. She asked if her daughter Melissa Heather could be useful, and it turns out they were. She says they couldn't be more different. My youngest all girlhood, even though it's only by 15 minutes. Is shy, but essentially hasn't stopped running from the moment she learned to scamper. Asma has kept her sister off a soccer field, but she's the definition of extrovert and is even performing in a local production of Is There a Life After High School later this year. Nice. Now I just need a picture of your mother, girls, which would be nice. So this would be the Susan. I'm slightly confused about the surname, because it was said she was a what's it called? Future husband. But she was already Susan Ford at the time, so I'm confused. And she's still Ford. Or maybe the future husband was before. Maybe. The names might be switched, but Until After High School is a musical. It's quite obscure and appearing Broadway for 17 performances. Nowadays, it's mostly performed by smaller theater troupes, including high school drama clubs. If you couldn't tell by now, a game designer by the name of Jeremy Johnson was in musical theater all 4 years of high school. Yeah, kinda could tell by now. There's one song from it that somewhat surpassed the popularity of the rest of the musical, The Kid Inside. If you'd like to listen to it, I recommend Barry Manilow's version. If you heard this song before, it's like that cover. The entire musical deals entirely with traumas and nostalgia that society collectively shares about their formative years, which feels appropriately thematic for this game. I've always thought of it as somewhat ironic that they have high school theater clubs perform it, though. Anyways, the keyboard and battle country times was local. Yeah, I hear you. Anything new? I wonder. I worked on time as a company with many offices all in the state. Roottrees Candy instantly set their aside one of companies they do business with. Okay. Can just do the business search just in case. Okay. Brazil. Don't know. It's like I can find some threads. Like here we stop with Mark, but I have no idea how to continue to find his wife, children. Who are these people? how to find their mother's picture. Farm. Farm. Elizabeth. Worked on the company records. What was the maple farm thing? Anderson. Anderson Farm. Is there anything new? Hasn't been updated. Elias and Gwen Roottrees were never really celebrities, but the general public's reception of them classic faces associated with the Roottrees Candy Company had always been somewhat high regards. This was Elias's intention, the family man with his family brand. Since Sick Pieces, the Candy Company has placed much less of an emphasis on Elias as a historical brand-connected figure. But there have also been those who have argued that it was his right to decide how to split his inheritance, and that he did nothing wrong. This has led to some heated television exchanges and countless op-eds. The first Anderson Maple Farm only used to be a popular tourist attraction during the summer month when it had special tours. However, it's since seen an explosion of off-season business as some religious and political groups decided to visit to show support for Elias Gwyneth's traditional values and financial rights. This rise in support was in turn followed by pickets from gay rights activists when some particularly inflammatory organizations made their pilgrimages. Amongst all this conflict, the farm has since been shut down, seemingly indefinitely. The website says check back later, but has no date listed. The quotes from Bess Williams' book appear to have been taken down. And this is this the hint that I need to look at this book again? Reprinting of an old book about Elias Roottrees, blatant corporate propaganda. Show me the corporate propaganda. The dictionary defines propaganda as information, especially of biased and misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Hello. I'm fine, thank you. I'm focused.
Hello.
How are you? What if they were to replace the definition with a picture? It would be a picture of this book. The book tells you nothing about Elias, and from what you know, his true feelings towards some of his extended family, you're not sure it tells you anything about true about Elias either. The issue of this book was so lazy that they reused the famous photo of Elias from Business Watch whose copyright has expired. The best thing it has going for this, only 85 pages long. And it's not useful at all. I am about to ask for a hint, so they can point me in new direction so I don't waste my time. The Baccalaureate Library no longer exists. You find multiple libraries in the area according to the website from Library System Miami. The building where it once sat is now the Miami Print Museum. Searching for the Miami Print Museum, you come across their website. It states their hours and lists exhibits. The building is very small, admission is free, and they only have room for different displays. One of the exhibits of their courtyard includes a fountain, a Valor statue of a non-author. The picture has been added to your evidence. Another is printing press that is used by Miami Sunday, a now defunct weekly newspaper. The last is the original print of Fugi. Why is this relevant? And history of my was the outcome. Larger new newspaper, not double author because combining names. And okay. Miami Print Museum. But why is this relevant to me? I would like to know whose picture this is supposed to be in Miami. Interesting. It's like I find leads, but they, as I would say in Japanese, chew the hampa. They are, break off in the middle and are not very satisfying. Thank you. That's a new avenue. And to be honest, if you look at this thing, asking me to review information I discovered and last time is a bit of a, I don't know, shoot in the dark. I don't know where to start. After the release of 6 pieces, Caroline Moore in the television interview, someone has uploaded a partial transcript of the interview on the television section for messaging community. The transcript is only her answers and is missing the question. This creates a somewhat confusing reading experience, but does give you a bit more history about Caroline and some family members. Okay. And this was not updated. Let's see. 45 minutes, the Caroline Morton interview. It's not connected to the bread, right? With the 45 minutes. This was a cable news interview transcript of only Caroline's answers has been posted on a site about television. Thanks for having me. I've never really fit into the family, so it didn't surprise me. She could have put me in if she wanted to talk about the time during my activism days, when I almost got arrested for stealing the spark plugs out of old tractors, but I don't really think it fit her narrative. Yes and no. They never tried to kick me out or send me to live on a farm, if that's what you mean. But I was already pretty and popular, and once everyone learned that I divorced my husband, few people paid me any attention. She's my wife, not legally, but we've been together for half our lives. Call it what it is. I was 20 and had just had my daughter. I had to look back at that time because I was a terrible mother the first few years. I left my daughter with my ex-husband and followed Guy on a private jet to Europe. He lost a tooth and a client. I found love and better understanding of who I was. Still, in our family's eyes, trip was someone more acceptable. Explain that. His trip was someone more acceptable. Explain that. Now I couldn't stand him. Our family wrote off his behavior like he was some huge fan of romance or women. But he didn't like the entire woman. It was undoubtedly awkward for me because he was more supportive than most. I slowly figured out it was because he assumed I would be as shallow as he was. He was a workaholic. He seemed nice enough and did a good job. I didn't know him well. That was one of Sam's problems with our family. None of us did except Carl. Honestly, I get why she's pissed. I'd rather not speak of the dad, not unless you want more stories about Guy. I want more stories about Guy. With Carl, though, all I can say is if we used to be friends before they sent him to private school. He came back, I would not judge her. It made sense when they made him president, so he was a lot like my father after they disciplined the fun out of him. After I started protesting the farms, he stopped returning my calls. Oh well, he's harder to label. When I was a teenager, he was basically drunk or high or both all the time. He actually used to sell me pot. His problems with women were different than guys, but he never really judged me. I guess he knew it would be pretty hypocritical to judge anyone for anything. Back then, he was destructively unreliable in every way. But nowadays, he's just kind of boring and old. I prefer that to how he used to be. And to Guy and Carl, but it's still a cautionary tale. I hope I'm not that boring and old. But this doesn't tell me anything. Besides that she went to Europe with Guy and he lost a tooth there. It's not like I can just Google Europe and, get the answers, or like Google Brazil. Except unless he's involved with things that happen in France. I know who she's talking about here, but she also doesn't say anything searchable. Lauren. In the wake of Six Pieces release, Lauren Roottrees, an author alive between wars, was tracked down by reporters being in one of the most upscale memory care facilities in Pittsburgh. She was relocated back to Pennsylvania when she began suffering from Alzheimer's. I see. There was a minor backlash toward the reporter that tracked Lauren down because they were caught standing on a ladder holding their camera over the privacy wall to take a photo of Lauren and her son Clark, sitting on a bench inside of the pond and the premises. The Butley Contempt review Lauren's diary life between wars. I will look up her book in a second again. Simple but focus on potential affairs in immediate family. You added it to. Oh, I see. We revisit. What was her second book called then? Or is it updated already? An entry entitled Cruelty from Lauren Drew's diary, written 1963, and focuses on the relationship with her mother and father. While it offered only redundant information during her previous investigation, it mentions the subject of affairs and may be more useful this time around. I'm no stranger to true love. Jacob and I married at an age that most deem unfit for marriage. But he was also enlisting at an age that most deem unfit for war. We had no choice. I knew in my heart that our marriage was one for the ages. He and I would still be together today if not for Okinawa. That was nearly 20 years ago, but there is an emptiness in my soul. I do not understand my contemporaries. So many girls I went to school with have taken multiple lovers. So many of my girlfriends' husbands have been unfaithful. If I am able to remain true to the cost of a man, with no chance of physical reciprocation, no potential for long conversation, how could it be so hard to love someone you can reach out and touch, someone you can joke with? I have not had to deal with such madness at home. My parents are a perfect match in the worst way. My mother's cruelty is perfect fit for my father's general spite. In turn, my pop's status enables her incessant need to gloat and feel superior. I have grown up with their cruelty and disdain for the others my entire life. Even my family remains unspared. They make fun of my grandpapa and his family's sayings. Blood is thicker than syrup, but nothing's thicker than Elias. They mimic grandma's Gwyneth lisp and see her kindness as a weakness. Elias, please remember them. And even our family's melodies and religion go unmocked. Remember, God only put one eye in miracle. I can say without a doubt in my mind that my parents have never had eyes for anyone inside their marriage. They're too self-centered to look astray. Miracle. Still don't see what it's supposed to tell me. Like the last two hints I get from the doc definitely give me new information. I mean, something to read. But I don't see anything useful. Did I suddenly turn like dumber so I don't see hints? have a lot of names. I have no idea where to put them. Did I delete her? We'll search her married name in a second. I thought by searching the farm I might find this one. Save up money, move their own distance, but they never succeeded, if I'm not mistaken, because their son said she kept working as a secretary and her husband kept working line chef. Useful website. You think I remember? The conspiracy theories? Where is it? I remember seeing it somewhere. There. Chris Rafferty prodigy site seems to have been discovered by the masses. Gone are the art pictures of his cousins. Instead, it's a list of questions that people keep mailing him. The most relevant ones are following. Are you son of Clark Rafferty? Yes, but I didn't grow up with him. I remember him from when I was a little kid, but I moved away with my mom when I was very young. We left Pennsylvania and moved back home in Virginia. We lived there with Pete, my stepdad. My dad and I spoke a few times when I found his phone number on a check he sent us in the mail when I was 15. He was happy to hear from me, and now he calls me once a month and came to visit me at college. He tells me things I don't remember, and people like Gus and Ernie Madsen. My dad and I get along, but obviously aren't very close. Did you ever meet the Roottrees? I used to know the Roottrees but never the sisters. I was in the office sometimes when I was a kid, and I definitely met the guy Hudson before he died, but I don't remember. My memory is weird. It's hard to know what I actually remember and what I only think I do because I have pictures. For example, I have a photo from when I was 5 and the office and my dad and guy was there. Thank you, give it to me. I was made myself sick by eating chocolate, and some woman who I don't know would clean my face. I know if my memories of that come from picture or not. The photo has been added to evidence. Thank you. How do you have proof of Ernie Madsen's heart condition? I knew Ernie had a heart problem because my dad told me one of our phone calls. I asked him about the poison because I saw it on the Roottrees website, and he emailed me some old stuff, including the proof that the website didn't take it down. You spelled fiance wrong. I'm good at spelling and writing. I'm good at painting and other art. I'm going to school to learn how to edit movies. I want to make cartoons someday. Lulu is much better at spelling. Good for you, guy. During your initial search, you came across the Thomas Arborwood's conspiracy page about the Roottrees. 8 months later, the page still exists and is thriving. The visitor counter has reached 7 digits. Many older articles have been replaced. It seems that the recent uprising in Roottrie news has left Thomas Overwood with a constant stream of events to base new theories on. More than one of his theories involve Roottrie that's been faked. According to Overwood, statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who have died in a family, the odds are that one of them faked their death. It's just math. This newfound focus on death faking seems to coincide with the post mentioning that he's begun believing the guy's not dead theory. In his own words, my eyes have been opened. All of this is beginning to make too much sense. One of his posts details the belief that Ron Roottrie is still in charge. When Roottrie death was faked, and Clark is only there to throw people off. Apparently, this allowed Ron to travel to France to develop their new candy recipe in secret. I will probably search this guy. Another is about the rapper Puff piece. I can't possibly be a Roottrie. One of his first album songs, when he was performing under the devil name, actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Rhino. Good for him. Not even Sam Madsen is spared. According to Overwood, the author of 6 pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram of M. Madness. They're purposely leaving hints for us. He claims that by using 6 pieces of Lauren Parry's book as one-time pad, he has begun to decrypt a cipher. Most of the ciphers seem meaningless, but he managed to pick out words people and vastness, and is working on figuring out what it means. There is also a request at the bottom. Next year, 2000, is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for funds and volunteers to catch the Roottries red-handed in Operation RT-29. He specifically mentions not to volunteer if you're ever drunk spirit cola, but doesn't go into why. Ron was announced as president of Roottrie during Roottrie Rift, but the next press release immediately reversed the announcement and instead stated Ron and Clark would take over. A few weeks later, Ron was dropped from the title entirely. There are hundreds of results about this development, but most articles are telling of basic details. Some went into heavy speculation based on an article about Ron in Business Watch. Ron has also done some interviews saying that the truth of what went on behind the scenes is not something he wishes to discuss. Instead, he hopes to release the movie about it someday. 3 weeks ago, Ron's mother Gwen died in Paris, France. He and his brother Obi have seemingly made amends. Ooh, they made amends. Interesting. The Business Watch ran an article about 2 months after Roottrie Rift about what really happened with Roottrie. The article mentions that nobody from Roottrees that they reached out to was willing to go on the record. Instead, the timeline of events has been constructed from public record, accidental leaks, and on the inside. The only parts that are new to you are the most vague parts, and one supposedly confirmed by their anonymous source. The timeline says that the family actually held a preliminary vote after Carl Roottrees died, but before the release of 6 pieces, and decided they wanted Ron Roottrees to take over because of his experience running RR Productions and because he was a well-known and well-respected Roottrees. But Ron seems way too eager to personally motivate it. They were worried he would get the land's trust to remove Robbie Roottrees. The family was notoriously unwilling to do anything that could risk their wealth. They stalled and Ron became frustrated with the delay. When 6 pieces came out, he saw his chance to force action while the family was in the limelight, and released the press release himself in an attempt to get the ball rolling faster. This caused chaos within the family. They tried to save face by allowing Ron to take over as co-president with Clark, but according to Business Watch source, Ron was impossible to deal with. He seemed like he was unwilling to protect the clan's trust. They eventually let him go. After that, the role passed solely to Clark, who nobody was excited about but seemed like the safest choice. Nobody's excited about the poor guy. Who is the woman is the good question. Which one of these? I put it there for now, but she can be anyone. And the guy picture. Question. Oh, I see. Answer. Yeah, I've noticed this. Who was pregnant? Oh, before I search for the pregnant person. Before I search for the pregnant person, there's she was pregnant. Stephanie London. November is also who I wanted to search. Okay, Stephanie. It seems Brian Jones has been busy updating Stephanie Jones' campaign website. The 2 sections is the first is baby photo. There you see a picture of their new family together in the hospital. According to the site, her daughter was named after her grandmother, which ended up being very fitting considering that she was born the night before Christmas. The second is what's next. There is not much substance there right now, but at least some small accomplishments, and finishes with the recent rise of popularity and controversies surrounding my extended family. There has been some extra tension on me. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months about how I plan to use the publicity to accomplish bigger and better things. Okay, at least not an affair here. This one, right? London Stephanie Politics. James Jones. No, this is the surname. Brian. Sorry, Brian. Non-occupation baby. Where is it? Baby. What's her name? She said. After her grandmother. Grandmutter. Doko? Clara? And how is Clara related to Christmas? What am I missing? Not Clara. Carnita. Carol. Jones. Wrong? Apparently I'm wrong. I knew it. The names were wrong. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Yes. Come in. Hello.
Sam reached out to me finally. I think I have you to thank for that one. My family's in a bit of a rough patch. Even though the candy is selling better than ever, everyone is fighting over the trust. The majority of us want to dissolve it. On paper, it seems like the right decision. The arguments about what to do next are endless and heated. More than a few Roottrees are worried about losing their wealth.
I'd say.
I don't think we deserve it more than anyone else. I love my family, my wife, my daughters, even my son, who I hardly ever get to see. I want to keep them safe and secure, but I didn't do anything to deserve this fortune. Hell, I probably deserve it less than most. It took me way too long to get my life together.
Kinda.
Okay, enough about me. Here's the deal. I can't stop the majority from voting one way or another. If you keep passing along potential Roottrees, I'll keep adding them to the list. On the other hand, there's been some leaps forward in genetics.
Really?
It may sound like science fiction, but we can actually determine who's in the family just by testing their DNA.
Oh. I thought they were talking about something even more futuristic.
What you've done so far has been very useful.
Not basic DNA.
Just keep filling out the tree and we'll prepare for the tests.
Okay. Let me fix this one. He didn't actually bring me any new information, though. That's the shame. You get a new picture, which is interesting. So you're involved somehow. Actually, I should stop. Definitely, because it's late. I did not expect this game to be this long, to be honest. 4 streams? Anyway, we will come back to it later. On a later date. Thanks you all for watching. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. What's up?